So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Navamsa video of the week. Or let's just say last week, because I was just so busy this weekend. Oh my God. Oh, the stress with children is amazing. So, anyway, today we're going to be covering Venus in the 8th house of your D9 Navamsa chart, because this is one of the most important charts in Vedic astrology, which is kind of related to your marriage, your married life, your bhagya, your inner strength of the planets, how things develop internally, which are executed in the world, and especially also the chart of your second half of life. Who you really are in your second half is really the Navamsa chart. And as always, if you do not know if you have this Venus in your Navamsa or what your other astrological details are, for that check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Magha Vedic Astrology Academy, where tomorrow I'm actually going to be teaching that technique of how to gain what you want in life, something that you desire to have, like whatever you desire the most. That's how this technique works. Whatever you desire the most gets done. So I'm going to show you this thing. And it's not like some simple video that I can just make and tell you, well, do this, do this, do that. No. For people who have learned how ascendants work, how degrees work, how nakshatras work, only then. Because it's not like one recipe for all with this particular technique. But once you find out, it's actually very simple. So I'm going to be teaching that at Magha Academy tomorrow. So Venus in the 8th house in Navamsa chart. Well, here's the thing. Venus can actually be a very, very good placement in Navamsa. It can be an excellent place in Navamsa. Why? Because we always forget what is the 8th house in the birth chart. Life and death scenarios, right? Ups and downs, dramatic things, scandals, insurance, inheritance, wills and estates. But now we're not looking at the birth chart, we're looking at the Navamsa. And here, certain houses have a much more dominance of some other thing, while the other thing works as well behind the scenes. So here in Navamsa, in the 8th house of Navamsa is the life of marriage, the longevity of marriage. So let's say, for example, you get married, okay? What situations are you going to deal with in the marriage on day-to-day life? What is that marriage is going to be like for you? Are you guys going to get along? Are you guys not going to get along? Are you going to support each other? Are you guys not going to support each other? All that is seen with this particular placement of Venus or 8th house in general of the Navamsa. So here Venus can bring a beautiful marriage life, marriage situation. Venus will also enhance your sexual life in your marriage, your sexual desires in your marriage. One will definitely gain through joint assets, like even a man will tend to find a woman, even if they're not working before, after marriage, somehow they will contribute to the joint assets. Even if it's through their family or something. You know, like they start working with their own family, some business, and they contribute to your joint assets. But Venus brings treasure. Venus brings hidden treasure in the 8th house. And one thing we have to remember, Shukracharya, which is Venus, was born in Jyeshtha Nakshatra. Jyeshtha Nakshatra is the original 8th house. The original 8th house. So if something is born in the 8th house itself, grew up in the 8th house scenario itself, don't you think it can withstand all the things that we worried about the 8th house? Now, does this mean that it's always going to be great? Oh no. You got to see the impact and conjunction and aspects upon Venus. What sign Venus is in? And especially if some of you who have like softwares, you want to see what nakshatra Venus is in Navamsa. because certain softwares will show you that more than the report, and that will give you a much better idea of what is happening with this Venus. But if Venus is unafflicted and sits in the 8th house in a neutral sign, in its own sign, in a happy sign, you bet your married life is going to be extremely well. But if Venus is somehow damaged, of course, you can deal with scandals, affairs. You're going to deal with some insults from other women. So always remember that one dynamic, one placement cannot work for 7 billion people. But what I'm telling you is what one experiences when there's no influence of Venus, because Mars will do something, Saturn will come and do something, Jupiter aspect will do something, or conjunction will do something. Now, one thing we also see with Venus is in the 8th house. One usually can attract a stunning looking spouse. Especially a man can attract a stunning looking woman in their life. Somebody who will also be very creative, artistic, and very committed. Usually there can be a strong commitment, like no matter what you do, that person will be there in your life, will be with you in your life. At the same time, Venus, especially through marriage, as soon as you get married, you will see how your recognition and fame increases. And Venus also activates your devotion towards some Devi, some female goddess. So even if, let's say, you're a Christian and you are worshiping Christ, after marriage with this particular Venus, you'll have strong affinity towards Virgin Mary. The other thing we see also with this Venus is that one will love going to places with lighthouses. One will love going to places where there is waters and towers. After marriage, naturally a person gets into Taoism, Zenism. But one of the biggest things we see with this particular Venus is that one is actually able to find their treasure. One finds treasure, like you can literally find a treasure in the ground with this particular Venus. And also, one does very well with communication and media. If one uses media with this Venus, one uses their communication skills, sales skills, you will always be on top with this Venus. But yeah, in certain instances, Venus can just completely take away the essence of marriage, or bring about many sexual encounters in life without much commitment. But you can't just judge that with one single Venus sitting in the 8th house. I really want you guys to do this. Go find 10 people Venus in the 8th house. See if everything that I'm saying here matches. It will not match. Why? Because this is just one scenario I'm giving you. I'm not giving you 10 different scenarios in one particular video. But once you know how astrology is working, how the motors of the planets are working, then you can just easily define, okay, this will happen with this particular Venus, this will happen with this particular Venus. Okay? Like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be actually showing things related to relationships and marriage. So if you like, you're not getting married, you're not in a relationship, there are certain techniques you can do to bring about marriage and relationships in your life. So if you're interested, you can go to links here, or just go to KRSchannel.thinkific.com or MagaVedicAstrologyAcademy.com. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow with our conjunction through houses. Okay? Bye-bye.